What's up, everybody? It's your girl Keisha. I am the host of Put Your Phone Down podcast. We coming in strong in 2020. Lord, I'm messing up already. I was about to say 2020, 2020. Okay. 2025. We coming in strong in 2025. I have this beautiful guest. I've been knowing Lisa for, oh my God. What's it been like about 5, 6 years or a little bit longer?
At least,
Yeah,
yes.
of course, y'all know I met her through Limp, and I got a habit, a real bad habit of snatching up Limp's people. But Lisa is good people, y'all, and she has an absolutely big story to tell, right? And so this is why her episode is called "I Got a Story to Tell." Lisa is also a host of her popular podcast. She's one of the hosts of Unmuted. So y'all, we go give you some information towards the end, but it's called Unmuted for a reason. Please follow what they talking about. You will be hooked, okay? Lisa is also a doula. Okay, so we go talk about that. And her daughter graced my podcast, Miss
Yes.
Kayla. If you have not heard her episode, this one is audio only. It's called This Girl is on Fire. Kayla got a story to tell to y'all, but this is Lisa's time. That's a cat, by the way, y'all. Don't start thinking nothing.
Friday say I
Don't
want to be
start.
inside.
Right. Don't start thinking. So anybody who has heard that story from that young lady that went popular on TikTok,
Mhm.
who told the story of a guy that she was involved with, and she made it like a chapter. Everybody was kind of hooked. Y'all ain't
Mhm.
heard nothing yet. Lisa got a story, and I want to bring awareness to this. We go laugh, and it might get emotional, but my thought process was to bring awareness to the listeners about how anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so, Lisa, I want to welcome you to Put Your Phone Down podcast. It's been a very long time, but we here,
We
right?
here.
We are here. Lisa, like I told the people, you got a story to tell.
I
I'm going
do.
to sit back. I always say this. I'm just going to sit back. I might jump in every now and again, but
Absolutely.
let's warm this puppy up and talk about this whole situation and how it ended up landing in your lap.
Yes. So, hi everybody. Thank you, Keisha, for the warm welcome. Yes, we're gonna laugh. Hopefully, we're not gonna cry, but we're gonna kick it for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you guys my story of how I ended up having to bury my baby daddy's mom. And no, we were not still in a relationship. We had not been together since 2000, 1999, actually, December 31st. But here I am. How many years later? It was
Wow.
2024. So 24 years later, having to bury and funeralize his mom. Um, First of all, let's start with we always had a good relationship, right? He is my daughter's father. But after you go through like the drama and all that stuff, and you break up and you mature, you come together and you look at each other now as just family.
Yeah.
My daughter is the glue that was holding us together, so we spent like holidays together. He would be with my family. He had a small family as well. I have a small family, and like my dad, my mom, like everybody, cared for him. My brother, like we were just like one big happy family, right? And so my daughter went away to college, and while she was gone, he would still be coming to our house for the holidays and everything. It was never no, hey, let me stick the tip in. It was never none of that. We were just like almost like siblings at this point, right?
Mhm.
Siblings raising a kid together, right? So, I have no complaints about him. He was a good dad to her. during those vital years, right? And he still was a good dad to her up until last year, up until you get called to the forefront to deal with your bullshit, right? So a couple of years ago, my daughter moved to Houston, Texas. She was getting her graduate's degree from Texas Southern University. So while she's there, um, things transpired with her grandma, which is his mom, and they ended up having, well, let me go back. So it was like the height of COVID. She moved to Houston in 2022, I believe, 2021, end of 21 or 22. And that was like the height of COVID. We're still dealing with that, right? So her husband ultimately passed from COVID. So she was out there in Arizona, which is where they live. She was there by herself. So she developed early onset dementia. So she couldn't stay there by herself anymore. So they had to bring her home. They brought her home to Chicago, or suburbs of Chicago, where she has her only son, which is my daughter's father, and she has one sibling, which is a brother, one living sibling, which is a brother. And so they brought her here. They put her in a facility because they couldn't care for her because she had the dementia. So she was thriving. My daughter came home a couple of times. She went to the facility to see her. They took pictures and, talked and all that stuff. She was still very alert as to who people were when they were with her, but she would ultimately ask you repeated questions. So say like you're talking to her on the phone and she would say like, "Hey, how's your dad?" And you say, "Oh, he's doing good. He's doing well. Yeah, he went to the doctor the other day, but they said that he's doing good." And she'd be like, "Oh, that's good. So how's your dad?" Like she had that type of early, stuff that she wasn't like just like real, real bad, but she was getting there. So, while my daughter was in Houston, she would talk to her dad and she would ask him, like, "Hey, how's grandma doing?" And he would be like, "Oh, she's good. I saw her." Or, "Oh, she's okay. Just talk to her, whatever." But her being in a facility, she was not able to have a phone. Why they take your phone when you're in nursing homes and stuff, I will never understand, because like some people's families are far and the only way they have to contact them is through a phone. But they will take your phone in those facilities because it's looked at as like an asset or something. I don't know. When you go into nursing homes, and this is something that's key, as you age and your parents age, and you consider putting them in a facility like that in a nursing home, they're gonna take everything from them. Just so you know that, be it phone, be it uh, all of your assets, your insurance policies, whatever income that you have, they're going to take that and they're going to apply it towards whatever their charges are to stay in that facility. So, like, you don't have no more insurance policies. You don't have no more, none of that type of stuff when you're living in those places. I mean, your family can still have one on you, but anything that's in your name, if you've been placed there, they're going to take all your assets. And that's a sad part of that whole situation, right? So she would be asking her dad, like, how's she doing? And he would just be telling her, like, "Oh, she's good, she's good." And so fast forward to November of 23, my daughter moved back home. So she's back home now. She's like, "Okay, I can get to go see my grandma for myself and I can get to, check on her and be there physically." So when she got here in November, of course, one of the first things that she did was went to the facility to see her grandma for herself, to lay eyes on her. And she got to see her and she was not happy. The care that the facility was giving her was minimal. It was not like the best care. And so, talking to the people in positions at the facility, she asked them, well, first of all, they wanted to know who she was because they had never seen her before. Understandable, right? So she tells them, "Oh, this is my grandma." And they're like, "Where's your dad? Because we haven't seen him in like 2 years." And she's like, What are you talking about? Because I ask my dad all the time, every time I talk to him, how's my grandma? And he says, oh, she's good or she's fine, you know. And they're like, no, we can show you the sign-in sheet where your dad last signed in like 2021. So he hadn't even been there, or 2022 or something like that. He hadn't been there in a while he's feeding my daughter. Oh, she's good. She's okay. You know, whatever. So she gets there and she finds this stuff out and she's like blown away. Then she gets a call. Let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. So before she moved here, her grandma's only living sibling calls her and he's like, where's your dad? And she's like, what do you mean? Where's my dad? And he's like, we haven't seen him. We haven't talked to him. He hasn't been to see his mom. And so she's like, what? Because he keeps telling me she's doing good every time I talk to her, right? So that was right on the cusp of her moving here. So then she gets here and she goes out there and the facility confirms, yeah, we haven't seen your dad in this amount of time. And so she's like, what? So she talks to him finally and she confronts him like, why are they telling me you haven't been to see grandma when you've been telling me she's doing good? You know, Uncle so-and-so said that, you know, he hasn't seen you. Like, what are you doing? What's going on? And he's like, that's fake news. Like, I've been out there. They just don't know. And she wants to believe him because she doesn't want to believe that he would do something like this, like abandon his mom. So she wants to believe him. She wants to listen and everything, but it's just not adding up. And so once she started going out there actively, you know, a couple of times a week, the facility approached her like, hey, we would like for you, since you're showing action, this is your grandma, you're here, you're supporting her, we would like for you to sign off on being like her next of kin, official next of kin, or what do they call it? What do they call that shit? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, but it's like
okay.
it's we want you to be her.
You
When
got
you
it.
have to sign the shit, like what is it? What is it called?
The sign off person. Just get to the meat and potatoes.
No, it's the oh my God. What is it called? It's called the primary something. It's something like that. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, guys.
It's okay. It's
but
okay.
they wanted her to be that person, for her to be the one to sign off on her care. Okay. So should anything happen to her, should they need to, you know, resuscitate her or anything, my daughter, they wanted to give my daughter those rights to sign off on instead of her dad, because her dad had been missing in action for so long. So my daughter's like, absolutely, I'll sign it. I almost called it. It's like priority care, primary something. It's gonna come to me before the end of this
You will.
podcast. So she signed off on it, right? For her to be the person, the spokesperson, or the primary caregiver, whatever the term I'm missing. They wanted her to do that, okay? And they also had ulterior motives for that. The facility did, because they knew that having her sign to be that Jesus, I almost said it again. I don't know why this is escaping me. I probably blocked it out because
it's so okay. Yeah, it's been a traumatic situation, so you will kind of, you know, block some things off, but it's gonna come to you.
It is.
Yeah. But you saying that they pretty much put her in a trick bag, it sounds like, in a way.
Trick bag, because they knew she was getting close to ending, you know, her life will be ending soon. So she was going to have to be placed on hospice, right? But that would get them off the hook if she would pass, because if she had passed with him still being in place as the primary caregiver or the person in charge of her care, they would have had such a hard time with getting in touch with him that they would have been stuck with her body, for say, for lack of a better term. They would have been stuck with her body. But putting my daughter in that position, with her being active there and coming there, she could have signed off easily on it, and which meant that her body could be transferred to a funeral home. Okay. So never in that short amount of time did we think that she would ultimately pass, but she started declining quickly. And even because this is my only child, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to support her. When my mom passed away, she was gone away to school. So she didn't get to see the ugly part of the stuff. So I'm like, I got to support her because this is her first time going through anything like this. So I want to be there with her. So when she would go see her grandma, I would go sit out there with her. I took radios out there. We would play music for her. We would talk to her. We would take her different like shakes and green drinks and stuff like that would help her with her nutrition because she wasn't eating. The facility wasn't pushing for her to eat. And so it's like, you really have to be mindful when you put your loved ones in these facilities. It doesn't let you off the hook. You still have to be a caregiver for that person because these facilities are not going to care for anybody that you love like you would. So you need to step in and you still need to show up and be there for that person. And that's what I was doing with my daughter while she was showing up for her grandmother. So yeah, we would sit out there. They would tell us she's not talking. She doesn't talk to people. I would go out there and be like, Miss, how you doing today? She would not. She would respond to me. She would respond to my daughter. She would talk. Do you want to listen to some music? Yes. I was like, oh my God, this lady ain't going nowhere. She's talking to me. She's talking to us. How you feel today? Do you want me to straighten your leg out? Because she had a condition where her bones and stuff would cramp up and stuff, and she would get stuck like in a certain position. But if you massaged it, it would release. You want me to massage your leg? Yes. She would respond to us. Even her brother that was going out there every day, she stopped talking to him. She was like, what? I don't want to talk to you, but she would talk to us. Mm-hmm. So, we were building that rapport with her. And I told her, like one time my daughter mentioned her dad's name and she frowned her face up so bad. Like, where is he at? Like, what, when she heard his name, her response, I just knew. I said, okay, she's not happy with him and she's looking for him. And she's like, where is he at? And so I told her, I just started reassuring her every time I go see her, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. We're here with you. We're going to take care of you. And that would make her relax. That would make her muscles in her body relax. Well, we could straighten her leg out, that leg that was stuck. We could straighten it out. And like she started looking forward to us. And we would go like 2-3 times a week to just sit with her for a few hours, playing music and everything. And I ended up leaving like a radio out there on AM 1390 on the gospel music station here in Chicago so she could listen to it because she was in the choir. She was in the choir when she lived in Arizona, active in church and everything. So she loved gospel music. So she would listen to that. And they told us, since you left that radio here, like her spirits, her response, everything has been so much better. Yeah, because she's getting some attention now. She's, being paid attention to. We're asking her what it is that she wants, what it is that she needs, and she's responded to that. She's just been laying up there. Yeah, her brother had been coming to see her, and he had been talking to her and stuff, but it wasn't like he was checking in, like, what could I do to make my sister happy? What can I do to make her ease her pain and stuff like that? He was just being a big brother and just a little brother, I should say, and going to see her and all of that stuff, right? So ultimately, a few months later, the call comes that she has passed away, right? April 23rd, Tuesday night. Me and my daughter, we looking at TV, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. We get that call and I'm like, okay, I instantly kick in because I don't know. My daughter's mind says she's got to go see her deceased grandma after not going through this with me and her other grandma. So I want to, of course, be there. And so they're like, yeah, she passed away. Um, we need you to come sign her out and call whatever funeral home or whatever you have to remove her, get that ball rolling. So we are blessed enough to have a family member, distant family member, who is a part of a funeral home, one of the largest funeral homes here in Chicago, right? So I call her and I'm like, hey, kind of need y'all. Kay's grandmama died and we're trying to get her, taken care of. And she's like, I tell her the whole story. Dad not responding, brother, distant. And she's like, well, I mean, I'll do it, but it sounds like we're going to get stuck with this body. This is verbatim what she said to me. Sounds like we're going to get stuck with this body. And I'm like, I mean, it might take a little time, but I can't see son not responding and not, picking up the ball to see his mom through her, her dying and her being her final resting place and all that stuff. I'm just still believing the good, right? And
Yeah,
so
now wait, let me put a quick pin in this because this is where it get juicy.
mhm,
To my understanding, he was the only child.
he is the only child. Yeah.
So okay, this is where it gets juicy. So now you have the only child
hmm
who I remember you telling me mama broke her ass to put him through school and make sure he was successful, right?
He
So
found that
this
found that out after her passing, up talking to her brother. Her brother said, I don't understand what my nephew is going through. I have no idea. His mama did everything for him. He never took
everything.
out a student loan. Never took out a student loan. She was writing a check to the college that he attended every month, working
So
hard
this so
to.
this the picture I'm trying to paint.
Mm-hmm,
Mama then done the duties. Okay. She pretty much put her life on the line
yeah.
as a lot of mamas do, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So he is the only child, which in her mind, she like, I know if anything go wrong, my baby got me. Not only did he not have her, he abandoned her in the nursing home and lied about it to his daughter, So everybody thinking that he's going and hanging out with her, but the responsibilities shifted on you and your daughter while he has disappeared. So I just kind of want people to know where this story is going, that this woman put her son through school.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa said she was writing checks. A loan was never taken out. I just need the audience to hear how this goes. She
She
gets sick.
paying for. She was an administrative assistant at Rush Hospital, and that's where she retired from. She
Mm.
was writing checks every month to his school to pay for his college. Never took out a student loan. He never.
Never took out this is how far a mother's love go. And I'm telling you, that's why her face most likely scrunched up when you said his name would come up, because it's like that's probably what she was holding on for. My baby is the only son I have.
Yeah.
I know he go come through. That's probably what she was holding on for. Just pretty much saying, hey, this is my son. I'ma hold on. If
Mhm.
this the last face I see, I'm gonna
And
hold on.
she was waiting. She was waiting to see his.
Yeah,
I don't feel like she would have lasted that long. She was waiting on her son.
yeah,
Every time we came to see her, she would look at us and she would see it was us, and she'd be like, it was
yes. Oh
like
my God.
where is he? And she couldn't form the words to say, like, where the fuck is my son? She couldn't say that, but we could see it in her eyes. And that I promised myself that I would never bring up his name again that time that my daughter said it, and I saw that disappointment in her face. I said, I'm never doing that. I would just reassure her that you're not alone. We got you.
Wow.
We're here. We're going to be here with you. And I would hold her hand and I would rub her hand and I would, rub her hair, brush her hair. I was doing all this stuff, girl. My mama had been dead. My mama passed in 2015. I'm dealing with this again in 2024.
Reliving it all over again. And it's
my goddamn mama.
Yes. And it's not that you wouldn't have visited her, but now you've taken over pretty much everything. So let's fast forward this. So here comes the body having to be placed in a funeral home. The family member says, we gonna be stuck. And you hopeful thinking,
I'm like, no, it might take a few weeks, but he gonna come through. This is mama.
Yeah.
He's gonna. So of course that night they went and picked up the body literally off the strength of me and my daughter because we're family, right? So they went and picked up the body. So let's say next day they called him. They started calling him. No response. He didn't even know she had died until the next day. And how do we know that he knows that she passed, right? So my daughter has a sister by him with another lady. And her and her sister are, they're building their relationship. They're getting closer. And my daughter was going to take her out there to meet her grandmother, but she ultimately ended up passing. And that broke the sister's heart because he's not real active in her life as well. So she feels like I'm not really connected to these people, but I want to form a connection. The only real connection she has is with my daughter. That's how she knows, that she has a sibling or whatever she knew about her grandma, all that stuff. And my daughter was going to take her, but then she died. Literally, like the day that she passed, her and my daughter were going out there. And so that broke her heart. So what did she do? The next day, she's so upset. She's so irate and angry. The sister I'm talking about, she started blowing up his phone because normally he would ignore her calls. But this day she's like, nah, you stole this from me. I was supposed to meet my grandma. And because you're the man that you are and chose not to involve me in her life, now she's dead and I don't have this connection. Like she was angry. She was reaching out to him to like snap, right? And so she blowing up his phone. She ultimately texted him and said, hey, this is, your other daughter, and we need to talk. He responded. This is the only way that we knew that he knew his mom had passed. He responded to the text message with, stop calling me so much. Stop blowing up my phone or whatever. I'm not returning any calls. My mom just passed and the only call I'm returning is to the funeral home. He said something along those lines. But that was a lie because he still hadn't called the funeral home. Like he was showing out. He was showing out. And so like that blew us away. Like you're going to tell your kid you not answering her call because your mom just died and you just found out and you're only calling the funeral home, but you're not calling the funeral home.
So wait, Lisa, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, was he still active on social media?
Absolutely.
Shut up.
Absolutely. Absolutely, to the point that him and my daughter had an altercation on Father's Day. So she died April 23rd, right? Father's Day is in June every year. Every year. So just let's say it was like June 20th. My daughter did a post because she's hurt. This woman is still laying up in a funeral home, deceased in the freezer because he has not responded to anybody's calls or any conversation from the funeral home, right? Our calls, he's blocked us and all this stuff at this point because of course I'm calling him. Go back to when I was going to visit her. I'm taking pictures of her laying in the bed, all that stuff. I'm sending those pictures to him. He's never responded to anything. I'm telling him, bro, this is the most vital time that you need to be here spending it with your mom because she's about to transition. And That's some time that you never going to be able to get back. Ignore everything I said. Right? So, like, we've been calling him, like the funeral home's been calling him since April. Now we're into June. It's Father's Day. So my daughter does a post on Facebook, and she's like, she said some snazzy shit. I ain't got no daddy, and no daddy ain't got me. Like saying stuff like that because she's hurt. She never would think that her dad would do some bullshit like this to not take care of his mom.
And
So
then go ghost on everybody. That's the thing.
Go ghost on everybody.
Damn.
Like he had been ghost on her brother, on his uncle and the cousins and stuff. He had been ghost on them. But like to go ghost on your own kid and me, like the people who are like supporting you and trying to support you and be there and like, yeah. So he did that. And my daughter said some snazzy shit on her status. That nigga responded. He responded to her status, but can't call the funeral home. You responded because my daughter called you out and a hit dog will holler. That's what the old folks used to say, a hit dog hollers. So my daughter called him out on a post and he was like, oh yeah, so we taking this to Facebook. Yeah, let's get it. Like, and he talking to her like she's some broad on the street. I had to pay your rent because you was about to get evicted. Okay, nigga, that's what fucking parents do. They step in at the time of their kids' needs. So you saying you pay her rent, that ain't shit. That ain't shit, nigga. Your mama still laid up in a funeral home, needing to be buried. But that was bigger to him. And I responded on that status like, oh, wow. So you can respond to this, but you can't call the funeral home.
How long was his mama ultimately in that funeral home? I don't think the audience ready.
His mom was ultimately buried on September 12th of 2024 from April 23rd to September 12th. And why do I remember so precisely September 12th is because in 2015, my mama's funeral was on September 12th. It was just like, this is a whole full circle.
Man.
A whole full circle right now. Do they know where she's buried? No. Do he know that she's been buried? No. Because he hasn't. Who did he hear it from? He hasn't talked to me. Still hasn't talked to the funeral home. Hasn't talked to anybody. But yeah, I ultimately ended up having to pay because the funeral home and my family, they were like, listen, we can no longer keep her here. It's been too long. Like I was trying everything over that time, over that amount of time, calling for support, financial assistance, lawyers, everything, trying to get this thing handled.
But ultimately, you can only do so much because you're not her daughter, right? And so this took for him to kind of pick up.
Absolutely, he's her next of kin, right? So the paperwork, in my mind, I kind of find a little bit of solace with him being ignorant to the fact that him thinking that the paperwork that my daughter signed will put her on the hook for everything, but it didn't. It only put her on the hook for her to get out of that nursing facility, okay, that hospice center, because they did not have coolers or anything. So if somebody died there, she was going to lay in that bed until whoever, the city morgue, county morgue, whoever came and picked that body up, which could have been weeks to a month or so, right? But they pushed that for my daughter to do because it would have her body would have been gone quicker, right? And literally after the next week, we had to call the facility back to ask them for some paperwork and information. Do you know what they told my daughter? They was like, well, we don't have a signed affidavit on file to release information to you, so we can't give you that information.
So this information was only pretty much her could only be shared with her dad.
Yeah, only her dad.
Meanwhile,
he's the next
he's missing in action.
He's not showing up, not answering calls, not doing anything.
So okay, what was the dates again? You said from 23. What was that again?
April 23rd, 2024. She was buried September 12th, 2024. So you got May, June, July, August, September. 5 months. 5.
5 months. His mom is laid up in a funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
He is not come around. He's not making contact with your daughter.
Calling to make arrangements. He's not calling his daughter. He's not responding to my calls. He's not doing anything. He's not. He's shut down. And I do know that about him. I do know that he's a person that will shut down. But when it comes to your mom,
Yeah, now ain't the time.
now
But
it's
on top, but on
like
top of that, he was still wasn't he like going out of town and kind
traveling.
of like
Listen, my daughter reached out to his friends. When she lived in Houston, he introduced her to one of his very best friends that also lived in Houston, right? So she called him like, "Hey, do y'all know my grandma died?" And they're like, "What? No." Like he hadn't even told anybody. And she's like, "I'm trying to reach my dad. He's not responding to me." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll call him and I'll hit you back." So I don't it never happened with them hitting her back. So we don't know like what that conversation was, or if there ever was a conversation between the friend and him, and he was just like, "I can't take it, like leave me alone." Like what? We don't know that. We don't know anything. Like she reached out to other people that she knew on his side, his friends, his cousins. Nobody could ever reach him to get him to respond to handle his responsibilities. So
I,
literally, it ultimately ended up being on us. And the funeral home gave him 5 months until they finally was like, "Yeah, Lisa, we gonna need to get her up out of here because we can't continue to do this." So what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? This is my daughter's grandma. It's past, it's beyond him now. I'm not even thinking about it being him. My daughter is dealing with her grandma still being here, and her is making her sick. Her thoughts is giving her anxiety, all that type of stuff. So yeah, on September 12th, we went to the funeral home, me and my daughter. Not her brother, not the cousins, not the son, not me and my daughter. Okay, we had to identify her body, okay, before they could bury her. My daughter has a medical condition. You know it. You reported on it already. When my daughter saw her grandma after 5 fucking months of being in the drawer, okay, she immediately got sick in the funeral home to the point that we couldn't even go see it through at the cemetery because my daughter was so sick. That fucked her up. Fucked me up. Seeing her like that, I'm like, this is a lot, And why are we the ones faced with this?
meanwhile, I mean, he he living off the fat of the lamb. Because I want to say, but you can correct me. Was he getting money as well? Like, so when she passed, did he receive any type of monetary values or anything?
So let's address that. After my daughter moved back here, the grandma's brother, the uncle, gave my daughter all the paperwork that he had from his sister, right? All of her insurance policies, all the paperwork from everything, the jobs that she had, everything. He gave a big stack, right? So ultimately, once she passed, we start calling the numbers and everything on this paperwork. Every single policy had lapsed. Why? Let's talk about why. Because when they moved her here, in 2021 after her husband passed, when she couldn't no longer stay in Arizona by herself because of the early onset dementia. When they moved her here, nobody thought to continue to pay her insurance policies or anything like that. All that shit lapsed. Okay. They never even reported to Social Security that she was moving or relocating. So, although Social Security suspended her payments in 2022, right? She didn't pass until 2024. So, that was almost 2 years of payments that they held because they were no longer being received at that address that she lived in Arizona, right? So, they stopped them. They didn't cut it, they just stopped them. She still was receiving the payments every month, but they were just holding them, right? So she had a good like 36, almost $40,000 stored with Social Security, right? So after she passed, and my daughter goes to them and she tells them what she passed, and they like, well, nobody ever told us that she had moved here, so we've been holding her payments. And yeah, she has about like $30,000 right here, but we're gonna put it back because nobody told us. Nobody, the brother, the son, nobody was thinking to say, well, my mom has this income coming in. We probably should let them know. Even the nursing facility, the nursing homes that she was in here, none of them said anything. I don't know if they didn't say anything or if the Social Security could not take the statement from them. It needed to be something from the family. I don't know. But yeah, so she had almost all this money stored up there that could have covered everything, her burial, all that stuff. They was like, yeah, no, we putting that shit back. And yeah, it is what it is. My
So,
getting anything, being a grandchild, they only give it to next of kin or children. So Kevin, oops. So he might have gotten a payment from Social Security by now without, you know, us knowing or whatever. But yeah, this is
so wait, you had to come out of your own money, Lisa? Girl, I don't. Okay, you had to come out of your own chunk of money. You couldn't get anything from her insurance. You not.
all all of
He's
the
not communicating.
all of the insurance policies has lapsed. There is nothing active anymore. Okay. And this is the breakdown that came between the uncle and my daughter because he felt like, oh, well, I got this paperwork here. I'm giving it to her. She still got something, active or whatever. But when we went back to him and said, hey, all of this shit has lapsed, he was like, oh, wow. Oh, well, whatever you decide to do, I support it. You gonna put this on my 26-year-old daughter that ain't never had to deal with no serious shit like this before in her life, having to be responsible for burying somebody? And then you gonna make that first person she got to deal with it with her grandma and not her actual parent? Like, this ain't right, you know? And we telling you it's lapsed. You don't feel no responsibility to your sister to say, hey, damn, well, let me kick in a couple of $1,000 so we can get her buried or whatever. Granted, grandma had a whole policy, burial plot and everything. Her husband, like I told you, passed away during COVID and he was buried there in Arizona. She also has a burial plot right there on top of him in Arizona. But for us to fly her body back to Arizona and get her, buried and all that stuff, it was going to be about $10,000. Who has that? Not me. I don't have it. Nobody else is trying to kick in with me. I started a GoFundMe. I started that because and why did I have to do that? Why was that my responsibility? I started a GoFundMe to try and get that handled, okay? We got about $400 in the GoFundMe, and I added that into what I had to put on to have her buried. And she is buried in Illinois, and even her son and her brother, neither one of them knows that. I have not confirmed or told them where she is. or anything like that, because I don't feel like they need to know it. I don't feel like either one of them helped or assisted in getting her buried. So why do y'all need to know? Y'all want to go visit her? You want to go visit her, but you didn't want to help bury her. So no, I don't have it for them.
Okay. This is more than what I remember us chit-chatting about it, but at that time, you in the eye of the storm. So it's like all this unexpected stuff is coming on. Like you went from thinking, okay, I know he go come through soon because his mother is deceased, to now arranging the GoFundMe, going to the funeral home. Now you stand having to take care of Kay, which naturally, of course, that set her back. And so now we in 2025, you have put the mom away well, no family sounds like hasn't stepped up. 2025, what's the update?
Yeah,
Cricket?
I ain't talked to him. We ain't talk. So my daughter has gone through a birthday, uh definitely the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that stuff. Normally, like I said, he would have been spending Thanksgiving, Christmas with us, right? Me and whoever I'm dating with, like it's always been like a okay thing. I did not ever have a complaint about him as a dad. Him being around my family, none of that stuff, never had a complaint. We've gone through 24 holidays, the end of 23 holidays and 24 holidays, and have not heard from him. I've called him, left him voicemails stating, dude, I would like my money. I want to be repaid for what it is that I paid for your mom to be laid to rest. And that's something that I have to do before I can actually sue to get my money back. And so I'm in that process right now because I should not have been put in this position just because I have a daughter by this man. And this man is incapable of dealing with adult responsibilities.
Lisa, this is why I brought, and I'm glad you had time, but this is why I brought this to the listeners, because you never know. The story that is painted is, you know what? What's that saying, Usher? We ain't good, but we still good. It went from that situation to like a Khalees song. I hate you so much right now. You know what I mean? Because you like how they went together. But no,
For sure.
but on a serious note, it's like to still not have contact with him and for him to not come out of hiding and say, look, I can't take this right now.
For you to not even reach out to your daughter and tell her happy birthday, that's something that broke my heart for Kay. Because last year on her birthday, she was in Miami, I want to say, somewhere Florida, somewhere like that. And she called me like that morning of her birthday. She like, I'm thinking about unblocking my daddy. And I was like, why? She said, just to see if he'll reach out, just to see if he'll tell me happy birthday. She still wants that relationship with her dad. You know, is not, regardless of how messed up he has done her, that's her dad. And she's a daddy's girl. This man was picking her up and still carrying her to his car when he would come get her at 12 years old. Do you know how big her ass was? Picking her up, putting her on her back and stuff. So they have that connection, they have that bond. But she was like, I want to just see if he'll do it. And he didn't. And she's standing in front of Universal Studios in Florida in a full meltdown that I got her through because this man ain't think enough of her to call her on her birthday.
Oh. So he's still missing in action. His mom, this is again the only child. His mom has busted her ass, even in his adult years, looking out for him. And he still is missing in action, still getting on social media though. So y'all know he's alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know what he posted? Like, is it? is he posting and what is he saying? Like, is
He's
he's living
posting.
life as this it's never happened?
He's promoting his events. Oh, he always lived like nothing. I've never saw anything on his social media about his mom passing or nothing. He's never acknowledged it. I reached out as well as Kay, like I said, reached out to the friends that she knew. He has a whole podcast that he does, huh? A cigar type of situation here in Chicago that's kind of big. Reached out to them, told them my story. They blocked me. they blocked me. They're like, they didn't even know that his mom had died. Like, because he was never showing any type of emotion. He was just pushing through, doing what he does, and all that stuff. And that's what he does. He ignores stuff, and he chose to ignore that, and didn't. My daughter even reached out, found out his girlfriend or something, and she asked like for his address, and his girlfriend said to his daughter, I can't give it to you because he'll be mad at me if I do.
So you really are living that life of like, not who did I marry, but who is this dude? Like, you know what
Who
I'm
did I
saying?
have
Like,
a baby by? Who the
yeah,
fuck did I have a baby by?
it's like this. You want to make excuses along the way and listening to the story. You want to
Mm-hmm.
show compassion, but anybody who is on your side, okay, would pretty much be like, no, nail him to the cross, because it went from me being like, well, you know what, people handle stuff different, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
um I'm sure you handled your mother's death in the way that you did. I handled my father's death like, okay, I kind of shut everybody out, but people still kind of knew my movement.
right.
This man has fallen off the face of y'all's earth. Like, he's still walking around somewhere. So now it's what we say, give me my money time. Give me my money. Are you hopeful that you'll get your money?
The thing is, I'm probably ultimately going to have to pay more money out to get my money back than the money is worth. You know what I'm saying? I ended up having to pay $3,000 to have his mom buried. To secure an attorney to try and sue him is going to be more than that. But do I want to walk away? No, absolutely not. I do want to go full force and try and collect my money. So that's what I'm going to do. I've called, I've left messages. He has ultimately unblocked us. He's unblocked us now. And I feel like he did it around the holidays of last year. Because just on a random post that I saw, you know how you get your memories on Facebook? And so I was looking through my memories and I saw his name and I was like, okay. So I clicked on his name because you know if you click on somebody's name that has you blocked, it's gonna say content cannot be displayed or something like that, right? But it took
Mm-hmm.
me to his page. I was like, oh, he unblocked me. Oh, he want to have a conversation. Oh, what's up? So again, I called and I left a message when I saw I was unblocked. Still no response. Still no response. I want my 3K back because that's my money and that's something that I could be doing with it. Nigga,
Yeah.
like you should want to, you don't know where your mom is right now. You don't know if she's been buried, if she's still at the funeral home. You don't know none of that stuff. The uncle don't know where she is. They like, and how are y'all okay with this? How are y'all okay with saying, yeah, it's too much. I can't deal with it.
So you
It's
got her brother and her son, two important men in her life, and you, somebody who's just gonna come and visit, had to ultimately bury her and figure out ways. So bringing this to the podcast, I don't know if anybody is out here listening that could lead Lisa in the correct direction. I mean, it's the big world, right? And so hopefully this will land in the lap of somebody that's like, nah, let's go get your money. So you won't have to come out of more. You deserve that peace of mind. That's nothing to sneeze at, for one. And number two, that's unexpected. Like it's not like you can just pull it up like, oh yeah, I got this. You had to tap out of some money that was saved for whatever. This is your money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was my money, regardless to what I wanted to do with it. I didn't want to bury your mama with it.
Yeah.
Like, give me my shit back. And like, any attorneys, anybody out there, anybody that's willing to give legal advice or even represent me in this case, to try and get my coins back, I'd appreciate it. But like that, and also the mental cruelty, because that's going to be an extra dollar amount tacked on. The mental cruelty for me and his kid, you not responding, you blocking us, you not caring to hear anything that has to be said regarding this situation for 5 months, bro. You like ignored everything.
So for 5 months, his mom is laid up in the funeral home, ignoring everybody, not responding, blocking people, getting into it with people on social media.
Getting into it with
Mom has been buried, thank goodness for you, and yeah, you deserve everything and more. So for the people that can help Lisa in any type of way, we go try to make this happen. You deserve that, and so, yeah, we go put this out here that if anybody can lead Lisa to the right direction, seriously, this is not anything that anybody should have to go through. And Lisa went through this twice. Y'all have to understand it. Like the first time, you still not ready. But the second time, this is not your mom, and you have to relive these things.
Exactly.
That's horrible.
When I had to go through it with my mom had all her shit, all her ducks in a row, everything together. All we had to do was execute. This situation, I ain't never been through nothing like this in my life. And a word to your viewers and your listeners, get some insurance, get some life insurance, because and pay on it, and be consistent. Make that a bill, like your light bill, your gas bill, your car note. Make that a priority, because your family having to something happen in an untimely manner, like, you never know when your time is going to come. So something like that happening and you needed to be cared for, buried, what have you, make sure you have that stuff in place, because like, it really is a headache. Yeah. It's a headache. You don't want to be the next GoFundMe out there for your loved ones to be trying to get you taken care of in your situation because something that happened to you, or you just done passed away and you don't have no insurance. Get some insurance, y'all. Yeah. It's real. It really is real, and you need that for your peace of mind, for your loved ones' peace of mind, because like, it's not fair. It's not fair to them to have to try and struggle to get you out of here. You came into this world by yourself. Go ahead and leave by yourself. Take care of your responsibilities and make sure that everybody is good.
And that's the thing. It's like, the fact that even though she did have it, it lapsed. You thinking that you got the silver lining, like, okay, you know what? Yeah. And then that. So but here's the flip side. It pretty much turned it around because you have tapped into something, even though, it's on hold for right now, but I think this is the coolest situation, occupation, that I have ever heard in my life. And when you told me, I was for it. I was like, oh, tell me more. Lisa is a doula, but what's the correct term for this? Because this is why I think one of the reasons why you went through what you went through, it actually is turning around in your favor, because You
Yeah.
about to pay it forward and being a doula that deals with death. So
Yeah.
let the audience hear about this one.
So it's actually called doula givers, right? So it's different from a birth doula. It's different from a death doula. It's like a midway type doula. So when you've been placed, or you or your loved one has been placed on hospice care, right? You can be assigned a doula to see you through your transition. Doula givers are not medical professionals. What we are people who are emotional support, right? So we're going to help you. We're going to help your family. We're going to assist you through every step of the way. We cannot administer medicine. We cannot administer any type of healthcare type situation. So what we can do is sit by you, hold your hand, hold your family's hand, talk to you, see you through, support you as best as we can without any type of medical necessity type situation. And this is for people who are unfortunately about to pass away. And it's so rewarding because having gone through something like this and having sat with my mom and gone through the situations with my mom, like I know I can only imagine and think about the type of help I needed when I was dealing with my mom transitioning, and my mom's hospice nurse was 100 grand. I love that lady. And like my mom loved her too. And when she would have to take off and she would send a replacement to the house, my mom would mean mug them and she would be so nasty to them because she knew she was in that situation and she was checking out, but she didn't like that person. And she would be like, don't come back. Don't come back to my house. And I'd be like, Mama, why you say that to them? And she'd be like, I don't know. Like, she didn't mean to be mean, but she wanted them to know, like, don't bring this motherfucker back to my
Right.
house. Bring my girl back or leave me alone. And so, like, you have those people dealing with those situations who get connected with the people that are sent out to their homes, and they build those rapports with them. Me being one of the type of people that you will build a rapport with. I will be there to talk to your family, talk to you, talk to, whoever, to get you guys to be in a comfortable position with acknowledging that your loved one is about to transition, and just to support you through and see you through any type of way, any type of paperwork, any type of counseling, any type of anything that you need except medical care. We cannot administer medicine. We cannot administer any type of medical opinion or anything like that. If somebody wakes up that morning and they're bleeding from their nose, we got to call a doctor, a nurse, or something like that. We cannot help you in that situation. If you're feeling sad and you need somebody to talk to, somebody to bring your spirits up, if you need to get out of the house, if you want to go on a walk, on a stroll, go for a drive, anything like that, we can do that type of stuff. So this is the type of thing, the difference between a doula giver and a hospice nurse or hospice caregiver.
And I love that. It's like, who needs medicine? Honestly, when you have that support, it kind of makes people, like you mentioned about Kay's grandma. She hung out a little bit longer. Not only was she anticipating seeing her son, but the emotional support. You don't
Absolutely.
even have to be passing. You could just the emotional support is what it is, and it can actually brighten your day. So the fact that here you are,
Yeah.
pouring into people, making their day brighter. When you walk through the door, they hype. It gives them an extra reason to kick it
So,
in gear. Oh, my girl Lisa coming today. We go sit up and watch the Golden Girl. Like, even if you do,
absolutely.
that makes them push through. So, Lisa, that's kudos for you, honey. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Turning your lemon, the sour, into something sweet as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
once you put your foot all the way in it, because right now, you're taking a break, but I'm putting it out here. Y'all need to find Lisa not just for that, but like she's doing her thing, and I need people to know. So we go fast forward to Unmuted. Like I said, Lisa is another podcaster. I love the name, you know. So let's talk about Unmuted and where people can find you.
Shout out to my brothers, Delvin, Steven, and occasionally Phil. Unmuted the podcast. You can go and find us. Literally, this just happened yesterday. You can go on unmutedthepodcast.com. We have our website up and running now, and we have shows that we normally record on Sundays. They're put out probably every Monday/Tuesday, depending on how Delvin is feeling with the editing and everything. But yes, we are random. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about entertainment. We're going to talk about, world news, local news, whatever. It's just a coming together of like-minded individuals to just talk our shit. And that's what we do. And
You can't go wrong with that. I mean, those conversations, they
yeah,
are very well needed. And like I said, the name is catchy because it's letting you know what you're getting into. Like, so
yeah.
if you big on censorship, this is not
We
because
gonna
it's letting you know already.
and you're going to be like, why would they say that? Yeah, because we unmuted. We're going to say that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we got unmuted.com. The website is up and running. Y'all, please listen to this. I mean, and then you have, like I said, the doula portion where
Mhm.
Lisa just explained pretty much it's a lot, but you still, making somebody's day.
Right. And
And
anybody out there is going through a situation like that where somebody has got a recent diagnosis or, you just want help or you need to talk about some stuff with a family member who's sick and you need some guidance, reach out to me, inbox me. I am Lisa R. Johnson on Facebook in my inbox. Lisa R. Johnson 1, I believe, is it? Or email me at Ms. MZ Lisa J at me.com. You can reach out to me in my inbox and I will try and help you as best as I can, point you in the right direction, give you the guidance that you need because, we all are dealing with something.
yeah,
And you don't have to deal with it alone.
and you don't. And I think that is so rewarding. A lot of people shy away from that. You get some kids, even adults that don't know how to handle that transition. And sometimes you need that extra, like again, kind of going back to Kay's dad. He's the only child. And there's no telling, well, you was actually prepping for it and didn't know. But if somebody who was in their parents' life and the only child, they would have been praying for something to come through. And here you go. So it was like, in a way, all this pain, it was pretty much directing you where
Yes,
you can be a blessing to
set me
somebody.
up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't that something? The setup be like, what the hell? And then you be like, oh, I get this. I get why, so it's like before we close up this awesome conversation, we have to talk about what we was talking about before. Hey, now this a whole different switch. We go switch the game up a little bit.
Yeah.
But Lisa, certain things that we talk about that get us through, and one of the things we we talked about was the different variations, the strains, all that of this weed out here, right? And so one of the things that we touched lightly on is when you're going through some people might like the gummy, some people might like the smoke. The girl is in everything now, food,
It's in everything.
Twinkies, whatever, okay? But you have to be very careful about those strains, like, so I've not always been into that. I was a goody girl. Like, listen, no drinking. I waited till I was 21 and I was like, "Ooh, let's go drinking." I couldn't even hang with that. I'm a whole lightweight. I've not touched a drink in about 3 years, I was like, okay, this is not for me. Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't even like the taste of liquor no more. When I tell you,
Wow.
I'm too much of a lightweight. I'm
Okay.
too much. Lisa, 2 sip.
And you
This,
good.
this ain't Keisha no more, baby. I listen. This ain't Keisha no
It's
more,
Kaylani. It's
baby. Where that pole at? Cause I'm a dance, okay. So about around the pandemic is when I decided. I was like, okay, yeah, we all unemployed at this moment, so why
Mhm.
not? And it took
Mhm.
me on a trip. I was like, what the wait. So in high school, everybody was chiefing, and here my old ass is starting for the first time. And I was like, yo, this is good. But I
Mhm.
was telling you, it took me a while because I knew I did not know. It wasn't until I got the difference, I educated myself, and I was
Mhm.
like, I don't like indica. I can tell you that right now. It definitely takes me to a different area. Uh, I I'm not gonna say I don't feel motivated. Sometimes it's the best sleep in the world, but baby, when I tell you I'm on the couch.
That's what indica is, and that's what indica does. It's a relaxation type thing. It's a downer. It's gonna bring you down from whatever. Indica is amazing for people who suffer with anxiety, high anxiety. So it's going to bring you down from all that. It's going to help you relax. It's going to smooth out your mood. And you're going to be like, this is great. Like, what was I upset about? Like, I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But those people who want to have an elevated mood, who need some extra motivation when you're cleaning or like, when you're trying to accomplish a task. And yes, we can do that. We can motivate you. And that comes with the sativa strain. And so that sativa is going to have you like, yeah, like let's get this done, right? And that's what you're saying. Is that your favorite strand, Keisha?
It
Or
is. It
okay.
is. It's taken me a while, and I also have become a strong advocate. And I'm not even trying to change the conversation, but I've become a very strong advocate against the deltas because of my experience. I don't know if you ever tampered with baby.
I gotten some text from you after some deltas.
And a voice clip. A voice. Listen,
Yeah, I know. I
listen.
know.
For the listeners, I don't want to influence anybody to do or not to. I just know I'm done with them deltas because, baby, I was trying to go the cheap route. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead. They say it do the same thing. I did a podcast with someone. Every Brain Matters, right?
Mm.
And this young lady, wonderful Aubrey, is the director over it, and she went ahead and talked about her experience and why she's going so hard against the deltas. And I will tell you this: I personally think there's a very strong difference. It takes you there. Now it don't
Mhm.
matter if that's sativa or not.
Right.
Whatever is in that, it might be rat shit, but whatever is in it, baby, it takes you high for 3 days
Uh-huh.
or longer. And that's off of one puff.
Yeah.
I had some gummy and I was thinking that I could hang. Lisa, I promise you, the next day, I was like, okay, I can get up and move around. I was driving and just the corner seemed long. I was like, when the hell am I going to get here? Like, where am I at? But
Right.
yes, sativa, as far as the weed portion, oh yeah. Like I'm already a bubbly person. So I think that
Mhm.
people should get pair it with your personality. If you
Yeah.
lay indica just might be for you. You might not skip a beat. I'm
Yeah.
not a laid back person. I'm the turn up point. You know what I'm saying? So
And even I was the laid back person, but the indica, like if I need to sleep, I'll take an indica gummy or something like that. But if I got a task ahead of me and it's something that I need to do, I'm gonna do the hybrid one. I'm not even gonna do the straight sativa one because the sativa one has me like running all around and
Yes,
the
yes.
hybrid, which is the mix of the two, is gonna take you up. It's gonna take you up to that sativa level. You're gonna be able to clean that kitchen, wash them clothes. You're gonna be able to do all that stuff. And then at the end of the night, it's gonna bring you back down so you can curl up in your bed and sleep amazingly.
See,
And so
I
that's
I
what
can't even hang with hybrid because it tampers
really
too much. Make Lisa, it tampers too much on my emotions, honey. Like, no,
damn.
you go let me know what I'm getting into. 1 minute I ain't gonna be turned up, and then the next minute I'm in the corner crying.
Oh, no.
I need a straight ride. Okay, don't give me no. Hey, I'm turned up, and then the next minute it's like, you know what? Life
Yeah.
ain't fair. No, I can't. I need to know I'm getting on the plane and we going. Don't hit me with nothing. I like why we still on the plane. I don't want to do that. But I thought
Right.
it would be a fun topic to bring up since that is what we talked about. And Friday, say hey to everybody.
Hey,
Um
Friday. That's a
Friday
big.
is super spoiled, but I thought that would be a fun topic. But
Mm-hmm.
bringing it back as we close out, I want to again let people know we've talked about insurance, we've talked about abandonment, you know, elder care, the nursing home,
Mm-hmm.
and the trick bags that they may put you in, the
Yeah.
care, you
Yeah.
know, it's just been a very big emotional roller coaster, but a story that needs to be put out because, as I told you earlier, I don't think you by yourself. I just don't think that these stories
I
is put
know
out,
more
you
people
know.
going through this. And if you are able to, if you have to place a loved one into a facility, always have legal representation because like they're going to come to you and they're going to be trying to pressure you to do certain things that will be solely to their benefit and not yours and or your loved ones at the end of the day. So like it's things like that that needs to be public knowledge. Just because auntie had to go into the facility, don't cut her off. Get her legal representation because they're going to take everything. Auntie's salary, auntie's Medicare, Medicaid, auntie's everything. They're going to take it. Okay. If she owns property and you living in that property, they're going to take that. They're going to take everything. So it's like, always have legal representation when you're trying to get help or care for your loved one, especially if you have to put them into a facility because they don't make you aware of all of these things. But yeah, once you go into a facility, everything up for grabs. Everything is up for grabs, and your loved one will have nothing. Will have
And
nothing.
I used to hear that, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
just whenever you hear nursing home, you either hear one or two versions. Like you said, either they treat your loved one like crap,
Hmm.
or they ready to take everything as if you've never existed one time on this earth. Like your whole everything could be wiped away.
They look at everything as an asset. If you own property, okay, how many of our loved ones own their houses and they can't no longer take care of their houses, so their loved one put them in a facility? That
Right,
house that you think
right.
you
Yes,
got
it
to move
does.
into or sell for your family, no, that becomes the property of that nursing home because they're caring for them. All of your insurance policies, all of that stuff, they cashing that shit out. That becomes an asset for them. And you no longer have that. They will take your shit, right? And your loved one will die in that facility, and you'll still end up having to pay to bury them and all that stuff like they never had a life insurance policy because they're gonna cash out on their life insurance policy. So think twice, think long and hard before putting away your family member, your loved one, your mom, your dad, your grandma, because like it's so many things that people do not know. The general public does not know when it comes to those situations. So be ready. Be
Yeah.
ready, and have other options in place. If you got to put Big Mama back in the back room and y'all got to take turns looking after her, do that, because like they gonna take everything.
Yeah.
They
And
literally take everything.
I like that you sharing it because it does expose the dark side, and a lot of people don't know. And
Mhm.
this whole story is a eye opening experience. So, to just round it up, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
you did a great job. You ain't gay. So I really and truly, I'm saluting you because you could have left it right then and there, but your heart wouldn't let you. And there is something in store for you. You can't see it,
Right.
but somebody who does that and doesn't turn their backs on somebody who they're not even related to,
Mhm.
that's some big business. Because there's some people that can't stand, you know, they fathers, they child's father side of the family. Okay. And so when you see this, I'm not for certain what kind of relationship y'all had before, but you put
Mhm.
all that to the side because your daughter was like, look,
My daughter's gonna always take precedence over me and any nigga.
yeah,
Any nigga. Her
yeah,
dad, my boo, like I don't care. It's gonna always be my daughter's gonna come first.
that's right.
So
That's right.
that's just what it is.
So to like round out this story, Lisa still has not heard, and her daughter still has not heard from her father, whose mother passed away. And when I tell you he went mute on everybody, we are now in 2025.
Almost coming up on a year.
Wow.
April 23rd, 2025 will be 1 year since she passed.
1 year, Lisa had to put this woman away as her body sat in the funeral home for 5 months. And when I tell you her only child is out here and does not even know where she's buried.
Living his best life. Y'all
Yes,
probably out in the club smoking cigars with him because that's what he does. So y'all probably out there kicking it, and yeah, he don't even know where his mama at.
that's some stuff I don't even want to ever.
That's cringe. That's like
Yeah,
that's
like I don't even want to know how he thinks. You know what I'm saying? How you sometimes be like, I wonder. Listen, I don't want to wonder because
right.
sometimes you be put in them damn situations. The fact of the matter is, I just felt this story needed some push. You know what I'm saying? And if it helps you in any way, if it brings people um, to open up and tell their story, or if it brings some people who want to get educated
Mhm.
about the doula, or even follow Unmuted, I'm here for you. I'm in full support, Lisa. You always been good people.
Much. Thank you so much, Keisha, for giving me this opportunity to speak about this situation on your platform, your amazing platform. Put your
Don't do
feet in the
that.
podcast because
Don't do that.
you've been doing it and you've been doing it big. And your time, 2025, that's for you. And it's coming. Your recognition, your acknowledgement, and everything that you've been working for is coming in this year. And I'm claiming that for you and believe it.
Lisa, man, don't do this, man. Listen, I got on fake lashes. All I need to do is blink once, and these holes will be off.
I'm
No,
serious. That's
I
just what it is.
I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. It
Mm-hmm.
has, and just in off camera talk, it's been a lot of losses in it. I love smiling and I love making other people smile, but behind this smile, man, it's been some things that have taken me completely off guard. But I
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing because I see the bigger picture, and I
Absolutely.
I look at those things as distractions. So I appreciate what you said. Is not
Mhm.
easy. Okay. I need people. This is what I need people to understand real quick. This is this is not easy. I'm a shy person. I've said this before. I know people don't get that. Um, but I am. And so I started off doing these podcasts on audio, not
Mhm.
because I was ashamed of the way I look. It's I'm a shy person, and so
To be
putting myself out here, trying to find guests, trying to continue the conversation, it has been a very big learning lesson. And it's not like I had any type of mentors. I enjoy talking. I enjoy finding out different things about people. That's just my personality. Shoot, I'm sitting down with you and we
absolutely.
go have a full-fledged conversation. Like I
Yes.
that's who I am down to the core. And so I'm in my lane, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
for anybody who thinks it's easy, for anybody that's like, oh, if she do what I can, I need you to know something. This is about consistency. If I'm doing it, yeah, sure you can.
Yep.
But if you're not consistent, if you can't develop the tough skin to have somebody reject you
That part.
or your equipment is going out. I mean, girl, I have been through it. I have had
Mhm.
interviews where the shit would just straight up drop and I'm talking and I'm like, hello? Like this is when it was audio. And
Mhm.
I just had to keep going. Like I would feel bad. And then I was like, oh gosh, people gonna talk about me. They're not gonna take this podcast seriously. But I
Mhm.
knew deep inside I had the gift for it. I just knew also it was preparing me. So
Yep.
now I know how to deal with technical difficulties. I know how to get a conversation out the
Yep.
way. You know what I'm saying? It has taught me so much, especially in dealing with celebrities and whatnot. Listen, they are a different breed, they honey. And so
Mhm.
you have to definitely be on their time and in their lane. But it's been awesome. And so I thank you for seeing that because it's not been easy, but it's definitely worth it. And it's I don't know, I'm looking forward to so much more, like more guests.
Yes.
No, it,
It's coming for you.
oh girl, I'm ready. You know what I'm ready for. Hello, Lisa.
Yes.
You know what I'm ready for. So yeah, I'm ready for it all. So um is it anything else you want to put out here, dropping any more nugget of what's going on in your world?
I think I pretty much covered everything. I just really want to reiterate the importance of having life insurance. Um, and, you know, just making sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted because after you're gone, yeah, you don't care no more, but your loved ones are faced to this challenge, to have to care for you after that. And also just be a good person, like be a good person. That's important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that sticks out more than anything. A good person, baby. Listen, you can walk through doors you ain't even know
That part.
was available. One
That
more
part.
question in dealing with this situation. Let's say after this, you get a phone call from him and he's ready to talk.
Mhm.
Are you open to have a civil conversation with him? Like, how is that looking?
I literally have no idea because I would be so surprised. I would be taken aback if he were to man up and call my phone. I'd be like, and I feel like the first thing that he should be saying in order to get me to listen is, I'm about to cash app you or I'm about to sell you your money. I probably won't hear nothing else until I hear that. So
Yeah.
you saying to me, "Hey, yeah, I messed up, whatever," I that's not gonna register to me. Just give me my money. Like that's all I want. Just give me my money.
Yeah.
And after you do that, then we can talk. We can have a conversation. I can help you get some help because you definitely need help, bro. But
It
like
sounds like it. I mean, at
he
the end of the day, we can't diagnose this man with anything, but it does
he
honestly sound like a cry for help, and
it is.
unfortunately that cry for help, he
Mm-hmm.
has offended and hurt a lot of people, like y'all could have been there for him. Losing a parent is
Definitely his two
nothing to sneeze
children.
at.
Definitely his two children that he could have gone through this with, and they could have been by his side, to see him through this. But he
Yeah.
chose to shut them out along with everybody else and just go into his shell and be like, my mama died. Oh my God. Like, dude, you ain't the only person that mama died. Like,
Right.
but
And the sad part, while you was talking, I thought about this. I'm like, Kay experienced two deaths because he fell off and then his mom fell off.
mm-hmm.
So it's like she's trying to process her father not calling her on her birthday,
Yeah.
while still processing losing
Her
her
grandma.
grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the phone call he could have made to her? It wouldn't have brought her grandma back, but she still would have had a piece of her grandma in him.
Exactly. And can you imagine going on your birthday trip and coming back and still having to deal with your grandma still not being
Right,
buried? Like
right.
it's like she never got any rest. So that like that on that day, September 12th, last year, my baby to get sick in the funeral home. Like it was a culmination of a lot of different factors for her because it was just everything coming to a head. I don't have a dad no more. I don't have a grandma no more. Like I had to look at her body and she's looking like a fucking never mind. And like I'm going through this and my mom has to pay for this and my mom doesn't deserve to have to go through it. Like she's taking all of that stuff on herself and it made her sick. And like here we are. We still like dealing with it. Still dealing with it. But she's gotten past it. I've helped her as best as I can. Like it's not your fault, babe. You didn't do anything wrong. Your dad is just your dad, and he just does not process stuff the way normal people process stuff. He has to isolate himself and do all that. But in the meantime, in between time, in isolating himself, he's not handling responsibilities. And
Yeah, he shut down at the wrong time, like, I mean, because again, he shut down the wrong things. If you can still go to work, now here's the thing. I can see if he fell off on everything. Like he stopped going to work, he
right.
stopped getting on social media, he stopped going out. Then that's something that you can look at collectively. Like, well, he fell off with everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
from what it sounds like is he still stay in contact with certain people. He's still most likely going to work. He got a girlfriend, so he fucking
Still doing his podcast, still sitting on like Caleb one day like caught him. One of his friends actually texted her and was like, "Your dad is live right now on YouTube." And she went on the YouTube and she was like, "Hey, dude, like, can you contact the funeral home?" And the people on his live was like, you could see them like reading what she said, and they ended up blocking her. And it's like, why are y'all protecting this dude so much from handling his responsibility? Y'all are literally making it seem like it's okay for him to do this. Like, why y'all making this do? If anything, they should have been like, yo, your daughter just said, like, why you like they should have called him into accountability. That's what I feel like. But I could be wrong. Apparently I'm wrong. My thinking might be off. But like, yeah,
well, I
it's
mean, at the very end, um, he got somebody else to answer to. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I look, I wouldn't want to have to do it, but the fact that he can sleep well. And I mentioned this and I mentioned it again. You in a relationship. So you getting your boots knocked. You living life and you don't know where your mom is buried. You can have a functioning relationship.
I literally said today, because we touched on it earlier today at my podcast when I was recording. I said I literally hope every time he closes his eyes, he sees her face. And I said I literally hope every time he goes to mount himself on top of a woman, he sees her face. Like I literally, because I know.
Can you imagine, girl? This is a whole nother conversation. He get ready to hunch and be like, "Mama."
I need her to come through like that for him to be like, hey, no, ain't no nuts about to be bust,
baby. No, listen. So you know, I'm big on stuff like that. The energy is real. You put it out there enough. I'm in agreement with you. I want to actually hear that he done hopped on somebody and was like, mama. Homegirl be laying up like, what's the problem? Be like, baby, I can't go through with this. I'm seeing my mama.
I can't do it. Yeah, that's the energy that we need. That's the energy that I would love.
I think that can happen. Because his mama go be standing there with her arms crossed like, boy, and he gonna be like, whoa.
Yep.
Listen,
absolutely.
I'm here for that, Lisa. Like, listen, we can definitely hear that happening for real. But Lisa, it has been again an honor and a pleasure. It's been. I'm so glad that you was available. We've been talking back and forth. And again, we know we ain't seen each other in a while, so we definitely have to make that happen at some point. Yeah, I got a birthday coming up. I have nothing planned, so maybe we can link up. Yeah, Lisa is a Scorpio, so we get along. We get along, y'all. So
Scorpios definitely. Yeah, and like I said, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for having my daughter on, telling her story. Like, Keisha, you're a huge asset in this house with getting our stories told, and so we appreciate you for giving us and sharing your platform with us to talk our stuff out. So.
I appreciate y'all. I mean, y'all can say no, you know what I'm saying, but just the fact that I think that y'all people, good people, and so therefore it works because I know good people as well. Y'all been good to me. Y'all have allowed me to spread my wings. Y'all a part of it. So again, Lisa, thank you so much. I am your host, Keisha. This is Put Your Phone Down podcast. Lisa is the host of Unmuted. Okay, so check her out. Lisa has already given her information, but I'm going to put the information somewhere in the description. Put Your Phone Down podcast is now available on all platforms, which I'm so happy about. And also I'm on YouTube now. I'm still getting the hang of that, but y'all, you don't want to miss this. This is a good conversation to have. If anything, if you've not taken out anything, Lisa is really and truly drilling the importance of insurance. So if y'all don't listen to anything else, know about that insurance, know about those nursing homes, and also know you don't know who you dealing with. Okay. This took Lisa off guard, and it's an everyday thing. So if we know anybody who can give her any type of legal advice, work with her. She's just trying to get her money back. She did a great thing. And I think that, great things deserve great reward. So I want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast. Like and share it. I am now on TikTok. I think it's like, I don't know. I was about to lie about the name, but baby, I'm on TikTok. Just put Your Phone Down. Put Your Phone Down podcast, y'all. It's been real, and I thank you all so much for listening. Until the next time, y'all, we got some other great and exciting episodes coming up.
Yes.
Lisa is my second guest of 2025. Yes, but they say clock it.
Yes.
Yeah, Lisa is my second guest of 2025. There is more to come, but always remember it's a lesson into this. So you all put your phone down, take a listen. All right, y'all. I'm your host, Keisha, and I'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Welcome.